Hi there, today I'm reviewing America's Army 3 with some in-game footage and user ratings. America's Army is developed and published by the American Army for recruitment purposes. America's Army 3 is a free game which you can download on Steam. The original America's Army was published in 2002. In 2005, Ubisoft teamed up with Secret Level to publish a version for the Xbox and the PlayStation 2. America's Army 3, released in the summer of 2009, is the latest edition which still uses the Unreal Engine, just like its predecessors. The game has just come out of its development and beta stages and is now public. However, it was forced to be released early, so it was not ready. You can now determine what your soldier will look like, and you can also have more than one soldier in your account, which is quite an interesting addition to the game. Other new additions to the gameplay will however be explained in the gameplay section of the review. For those of you who love eye candy, I'm starting off with the graphics. Its latest graphics are a huge step up from its previous releases. However, they're still nothing special. Then again, what can you expect for a free game? But they're nice enough to say that they're pretty awesome graphics. In Firefights you'll have some sparks bouncing off the wall, and in Crossfire, you'll see that the bullets whizzing past you. Although I find the game is generally quite dark, and I'd recommend turning up the brightness to see into those corners and small rooms more easily. It can sometimes be pretty tricky to define who is on which team. The graphic settings can be modified to your system's performances. This game will require a pretty decent system to run on full graphics, but can easily run on much lower spec systems on its reduced graphics levels. This broadens the amount of people that the game will reach. In other words, you don't need to have an amazing PC which costs over a good $1,000 to play this. Now moving on to the gameplay, there is plenty of interactivity in America's Army 3. Vaulting over walls, leaning around corners, reviving teammates, and sliding into position are some of the main aspects. They've really gone all out and tried to create the mobility that you would have in real life. It definitely has everything a good first-person shooter needs. Another nice addition is the on-sight aiming, which you don't find in many games. You'd usually have to use a scope to aim. I do find that the iron-sight aiming is a bit tricky to use. You can't see exactly where you're looking, and it's sometimes hard to put your aim on the target. Although the sighted aiming seems perfectly fine. Before going to the battle you need to do some training courses. This is fine, while it would be, if it didn't have so many bugs. The game has been through beta stages and a major patch, and it seems although they haven't picked up on the easiest bugs in the game, yet the most annoying. Training progression doesn't seem to record properly, or it tells you that you have failed even though you've done exactly what it has said. I personally spent ages on the grenade training. After hitting every target relentlessly, I still couldn't seem to pass the test. Not only that, but if you are just starting out and it's telling you the controls and you want to change those controls, once you bring up the menu, you can't get rid of it, and you have to either reload the mission or play with the menu taking up a quarter of the screen. It's really quite a shame, as there are so many great things about this game and they're all held back by these small annoyances. One thing I do find interesting which the previous releases didn't have were cinematics. Okay, America's Army 3 doesn't quite have cinematics, they're more like moving paintings with narration, but that's close enough, right? The cinematics correspond with the progression of your training, mainly the offline stuff. In my personal opinion, sound effects are very important in a game. America's Army brings me exactly what I want to hear, from high-pitched bullets skimming through the air past your ears to a deep explosion of a grenade. The sound effects seem perfect to me. The echoes of a rifleman firing in the background and the calls of injured soldiers bring you straight into the environment. I'm a big fan of playing online. America's Army yet again comes to the test with a great online experience, with 4 great game modes, moving objective where you have to pick up something and take it to another place. Then there's a more stationary take and hold objective game, which seems to be the most common among servers. Although my personal favourite would have to be escorting VIPs through difficult terrain, taking cover from hostile fire. This really gets my adrenaline pumping. For those of you who don't like killing each other virtually, you can team up and do missions, and to avoid playing with people way out of your league, you level up with an honour system. The more you play and the better you do, the higher rank of honour you get, just like leveling up in an RPG. You know, this all sounded great, and then I heard they were using Punkbuster. I can't really be biased, but I personally hate Punkbuster. It always has problems. It kicks people out of games for unknown reasons, and it doesn't even keep the hackers out. So it's quite a downer on the quality of online play. Overall, if this game wasn't free, and it was on the shelf just like any other game, costing €60, €50, €40, I probably wouldn't be purchasing it anytime soon. But for a free game and a quick time waster, I find this is perfectly suitable as far as a free game goes. So if you're suffering from the credit crunch and you're looking for some budget or low-cost games, then I definitely recommend America's Army, a free game with plenty of fun and an endless online play.